When I used to go on ops, I had this photograph of my lovely Mary. This particular photo was in a Woolworths frame. It was as ornate as that. It used to stand in my locker, and when I was going on ops, I would pick it up, go to kiss, turn it towards the door, and when I got the door, turn around and say, hope I'll come back to see Mary. And thankfully I did, 36 occasions. So that was my, look, she could have been a widow at 19, but we had 70 wonderful years together. Well, we met at the beginning of the war at a church dance. Mary was 15, I was 16. I couldn't dance at the time, but my older cousin was a good dancer, and he was dancing around with her this time, and he said, my cousin over there would like to meet you, Mary. So she looked over, saw me, and says, time to get lost. But we had our first date 6 months later. Got married when Mary was 19, I was 20. We knew what the consequences were. We looked on it as a job that had to be done. Every one of us was a volunteer. I mean, there were 50% of us killed, 55,000. Another 28% were either prisoners of war or suffered so serious injuries would never fly again. So really only 1 in 4 of us would come through unscathed. I was one of the lucky ones. Unfortunately, my brother was one of the 50% who didn't come. He was also a flight engineer on the Halifax Bombers with the Canadians, and he was killed on 19 November 1943. And the day of our first operation, I'll never forget it. It was a lovely sunny day, and when we were about 40 miles from the target, I saw this big black object in the sky. Wondering what it was, my first stop, as we got near it was what's known as a block barrage. The Germans every now and again would throw everything up into a certain area and height. And I thought, well, that's stupid, that would just fly around it. But in the RAF you had your route to take and you never deviated from that. And then I started seeing them being hit and go down. Anyway, see Charlie was just ahead of us on our starboard side, and I saw it get hit, smoke and flames coming out, and 3 bodies bailed out. 2 of them, their parachutes opened. The 3rd one must have jumped into a burst of flak, because all I saw was a torso going past. I must have been petrified with shock or fear or both, because I'd been physically sick. I also saw the plane blow up, and I was only one of the crew that saw everything. Fear never left us. We're all scared every trip. I remember getting down on the ground saying, God, I'll never be able to do another 29 of these. And we saw the damage done to our aircraft. There was a hole in the port wing, size of a house door. How it missed all the controls, you know, the fuel, hydraulics and all that, God only knows. And the next day, the ground crew said they'd counted 32 flak holes in the plane. We never looked on ourselves as heroes then, certainly not now. We just had to save Britain from the horrors of the Nazis. You know, I got my life, I'm so lucky, but it's just what those, not only the RAF, but the Army and Navy, or the Merchant Navy, went through. We gave our lives, young men, for what we have today, you know, should be thankful. That's the pilot. He's the old man of the crew, Laurie, the bomb aimer. He was 23. Ray, the navigator, was 21. It's not my beloved country. And it's worth living in, and it's worth fighting for. But just don't take things for granted, you know.